4 up to verse 9. The last verse says that Parikshit Maharaj is a great devotee of the Lord and his activities are wonderful. And we have to now learn about Parikshit. Parikshit is the grandson of the Pandava lineage that is there, if you recollect. And his story goes that he was in the jungles and one day he was searching for shelter and he was very thirsty and hungry, and he comes across this great sage, and the sage is in samadhi. He doesn't understand, Parikshit doesn't understand that he is in samadhi, and he tries to tell the sage something, but the sage is, like I said, he is not in a position to understand anything because he is in samadhi. So in anger, there is a dead snake lying over there, so he puts it around the neck of this sage and goes away from there. This is observed by the son of the sage when he returns, and he curses the king, that is Parikshit. And this is where the story was. So we will now continue from here further on. We are doing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 4, verse 10. He was a great emperor and possessed all the opulences of his acquired kingdom. He was so exalted that he was increasing the prestige of the Pandu dynasty. Why did he give up everything to sit down on the banks of Ganga and fast until death? So the story so far is, Sutta is telling his group of sages which are sitting around him and asking the story. Can you please tell us what happened when Sukdev met Parikshit? So this is how the story is. So there is Parikshit Maharaj, who is of the lineage of the Pandava race. It's also called the Kuru race. So he is ruling over the kingdom over there after the great war, Mahabharata. And after that war, he took over the kingdom, and the story which I told you just now happened. And he was sitting in near this river, and Sukdev is telling him the story. Now this entire thing is called Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is a compilation of the entire stories of the Lord. When Shri Krishna took birth in various avatars, some people believe it's the Mahavishnu who took birth in various avatars along the way. So right from the beginning till the end, the last avatar we are going to cover is called the Kalki avatar. Kalki is at the end of the time. So this is how the various avatars have come along, and these stories are being told to Parikshit. And Parikshit in turn has to listen to them so that he gets liberation. The idea that when a person listens to the stories of the Lord, you get liberation. This is what is mentioned in the scriptures, and we have to believe in this aspect. So we are discussing about Parikshit. Parikshit was a great king. Naturally, after the defeat of the Pandavas defeating Kauravas in the battlefield, they took over the kingdom, and this is the second generation after Yudhishthir who is taken over. So Parikshit, he was a great emperor. Remember, Arjuna had captured many kingdoms along the way. Right from what is current Delhi that is there, from there you can imagine he started conquering kingdoms after kingdoms after kingdoms like this, and he took this thing which is called the Ashwamedh Yagya right till the end of South Asia. That is why today when you go to any of these places, right up to Indonesia, you will find the remnants of the ancient civilization which talks about the stories of Mahabharata and Ramayana also. There's a place called Angkor Wat. Now, Angkor Wat is a very famous place. There is Bangkok also. There is Bali also. In all these places, you will find that there are the stories of Mahabharata and Ramayana carved in stone also. Alright? There are statues of Mahavishnu, Shiva, and various other gods. Now, all these statues are still there. After this dynasty, that is the dynasty which ruled over these kingdoms, came to an end, then the Buddhists came in that place. And what the Buddhists did was very unique as we go along that entire way. All the statues of the so-called Hindu gods, they were chopped. That means the head were removed. And the image, the head of Buddha was put on these statues. So if you were to go to any of these places, you will find that, say, a place in Cambodia. Now in Cambodia also, there is Siem Reap. And if you go further up, you will find that there are various temples over there. They have removed the linga. The linga is that, the block on which one elongated piece of stone is put. That is the Shivalinga. They have removed the linga and they have separated it. And the statue has been cut at the head. And a Buddha statue, a Buddha's head has been put on that. This is what happened afterwards. But during the time of Arjuna, the whole land was conquered by him in this Ashwamedh Yajna. So he was an emperor. Parikshit was an emperor. And that is the reason why we are talking about him. The opulences of his great kingdom. His kingdom was acquired. This is the word you have to remember. This kingdom was acquired. It was not his. So there were Kauravas before. They were defeated in the battle. And the Pandavas acquired that kingdom. You may say Pandavas used to own. No. One dynasty goes, then another comes, then another comes, then another comes. Whichever dynasty that is there at the moment is acquiring it from the previous king. Is it understood? Likewise, as we go along this path towards Bali, you will find that when Arjuna took this horse over there for the Ashwamedh Yajna, all the kings had to surrender to him. So these kingdoms were acquired kingdoms. They were not his own. Got it? I hope you got that. Now, he was very exalted king. That means he was very high in the order of whatever that he has been doing so far. And why did he have to give up his kingdom? And why was he sitting on the banks of the Ganga river? So this is the question asked by these rishis to Sutta. So we have to find out. So the next verse. He was such a great emperor that all his enemies would come and bow down at his feet and surrender all their wealth for their own benefit. He was full of youth and strength, and he possessed insuperable kingly opulences. Why did he want to give up everything, including his life? Now this is again a phenomena which cannot be understood by human beings. In the material world, let us say you have a big property in your name. Okay, you have a property worth millions. Can you give away the property just like that and walk away? Do you think you have the guts to do that? You are bothered about your food. You are bothered about your expenses. You are bothered about hundreds of things. It is impossible to give away something just like that. Now Parikshit had gathered all this during his time. The kings who were subservient to him would come and offer him the riches. That is how it always happens, isn't it? You will find that the kings and the queens that are ruling over there will come with their booty, whatever that they have, whatever gold, silver, this, that, they will come and they will offer it to this king over here. Okay, this is yours. There is a very strange story also where things were offered to a great king who was born, who was not a king. That story goes that 3 kings of Asia traveled all the way from Baghdad, and they traveled from different places, and they came to visit Jesus Christ when he was born. Do you remember this? It is there in the Bible also. You will find the king came and offered him riches and so on and so forth, and the scents, the myrrh and all those, and all those beautiful things were offered. Now, it is a rule. When you meet a great person, it is a duty of that individual, if he is having some opulence, something like that, maybe it's a silver, gold or whatever. It is a job to offer it as a service. So if, let us say, if tomorrow, if Narendra Modi were to go and meet, say, Donald Trump in his White House, which may in the future happen, so naturally he is going to go with some very beautiful gift and he will offer it to that kingdom over there, which is whoever is the so-called king or the president at that time. Isn't that true? So everybody offered like that. And the king had lot of opulence, a lot of riches. And after having all the riches in the world, imagine one day, he says, I am leaving everything just like that and walking away. It is not easy to do that. It's the most difficult thing in this world. It's only when you are on the path of spiritual that you do those things, not otherwise. In the normal sense, people can snatch away your property. Somebody can come and sit on your property, It happens, isn't it? Some people can snatch it away, some people can just sit on it, some people can create, false papers and documents and take it away from you. The government can also take it away just like that, saying that, oh, we have a developmental plan. That is all allowed. Tomorrow the enemy can come and take their land away. But those are normal things in the normal world. But is it easy for somebody to hand over the entire property or the kingdom that they have? Okay, here it is, take it away. It is not possible. And here he is saying, he gave away all his worldly attachments. Every attachment in the world. He just gave it away. And he said, I don't want any of these things. So, he was such a great emperor, to all his enemies would come down. Like, say, enemies will also come over there, no? So why did he want to give up? So verse number 12 says, those who are devoted to Shri Krishna live only for the welfare, development and happiness of others. They do not have selfish interests. Even though Parikshit was free from all attachment to worldly possessions, how could he give up his mortal body which was shelter for others? See, when you are a true devotee of Sri Krishna, then what is your job? Your job is not to become selfish. People have selfish interests. They are bothered about their families, isn't it? My wife, my children, my husband, my house, my property, my life, my job, my money. My. What are you doing for Krishna? Nothing. You are bothered about your own life like nobody's business. You are bothered about your family's welfare. You are bothered about what are we going to eat tomorrow. You are bothered about everything which is, related to I, me, myself. But a true devotee of Krishna is always bothered about the welfare of others, not himself. If he cooks something, he will cook for others, not for himself. If he buys something, it is always bought for others, not himself. Any activity that he does, any activity, there will be no selfish interest in the activity at all. He is not bothered about earning money for himself. He is not bothered about having a family and taking care of the family, because he knows that he is not the one who is taking care. It is the Lord himself who takes care. And that is the reason why he lives only for welfare, development and happiness of others. Human beings are petty. They are bothered about their own welfare. What is their welfare? How good I am, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to go travel here, I want to do this thing over there, I want to buy a car, I want to buy a house, I want to... I. Where is the welfare of others? You are not even bothered about the welfare of your neighbor or some other children in your locality. What are you? You are not even a person. And again, if you do something for someone, all right, you are not supposed to expect anything from them. Please remember one thing. If you are doing something for someone, let us say you are giving money to some person, or you are giving them shelter, you are giving them a house. What makes you think that they should be working for you? What makes you think that you can treat them like a servant? What makes you think that you have given money to them so they should be subservient to you? It's very easy to say, oh, they are helping me. No. It's not help. You are converting the so-called help into giving them something. That is not something which you should do. Then you are not following the devotional path at all. You are a very selfish person. So, these people do not live for their selfish interest. These three things you should always remember. It is the welfare of the world. We are only supposed to be bothered about others' welfare, not our welfare. Second, development has to be done, which means what? You are not supposed to look at your family. I have to give education to my children. I have to bother about their growth. No. Are you bothered about other people's children? Or are you bothered about those orphans somewhere? Are you bothered about how other people are there in this world? You are not even moving out of your small cocoon that you have created for yourself. This is my family, this is my house, this is my job, this is my family, these are my bank accounts, and this is all I have to teach my children. That is all you are bothered about. Where is the welfare for this world? There is no welfare. See, understand one thing. I started something in 2012. I had to shut it down. Then I started it again in 2015 and 16. Again we had to shut it down. I started something again in 2021-22. It's literally shut down because not a single person is interested in the welfare of other people. If you are interested in the welfare, which is what this organization which we are talking about, we are not interested in robbing people. We are interested in helping the world so that some funding can be taken and it can be put over there. And that is all that is required. But there is hardly anything happening. So there is no welfare happening. Secondly, where is the development? The development itself is not there. So understand one thing, nobody is interested. Everybody is for themselves only. It is a dog eat dog world and I have to live in the dog eat dog world. I am only bothered about my own house, my family, my children, my this, my that. This is what happens. And the happiness of others. It is not my happiness that I have to bother about. It is always their happiness, the world's happiness. Yesterday I was giving a small talk. At that time I said, please understand, everybody is here in this world for a reason. And the reason is not selfish. If I create a small robot, why am I creating the robot? So that he can help me with the business or no, or whatever that I am doing, chopping, cutting, this, that, I am doing this or no. So if I have a mixer grinder, I hope the mixer grinder is there which will help me, no? Correct or no? So everything, the car is there for my driving around. So the Lord Shri Krishna has created human beings like you, so that they can do job for him. But the car is driving for itself. I want to go here, I want to go there. How is that? I hope you get the point. We have become so selfish that we don't care for Krishna. Krishna has sent me for this purpose. I will see once I take care of my family, then I will think about Krishna. Why he has sent me on this planet Earth. This is the reason, this is the way and how I have to see. I have to bother about my mother, father, husband, wife, children, this, that. First let me take care of them and then I will take care of what? Krishna. Krishna, you just have to wait, okay? You just wait. Let me first look at my family first and my needs first. We are like this. So here, Parikshit is a king who is taking care of the whole kingdom. He was bothered about the welfare of everybody. There was development in his kingdom and there was happiness all around. And here is this king giving away all the worldly possessions. The worldly possessions, I have till today not seen a person who can give away all these worldly possessions. Believe me, it's very difficult to find a person like that. It's really impossible for somebody to give away everything to charity. Some of the ancient people whom I know and I remember, they gave away their entire property away. These are the old Parsis which came to India. What they did was they gave away land to their people. Alright? You see, the last chief of the Tata Empire was Ratan Tata. And before that there was JRD. So, JRD was not married. Ratan Tata was not married. If you are married, what happens? You are bothered about your wife, your children, your this, your that, your grandchildren and whatnot. And you become so biased in your life. These two people refused to get married. And what did they do? They owned only 1% of the whole company. 1%, not even 2%. And it was not in their name. Nothing was in their name. It was in the name of a trust. And that trust controlled n number of companies. Okay? This is how they lived. Look at yourself. Do you have a house? Yes. Do you have your car? Yes. Do you have properties? Yes. Do you have bank balance? Yes. These fellows never had any of those things. There was an old house which somebody had built, they are staying in that. He had a car which was 30, 40 years old, owned by somebody. The house is big, 4, 5,000, 10,000 square feet maybe. And one woman would come in one whole week. One woman coming in a whole week to cook something and go. That is all. So how does that person live? How does he become so opulent and rich? He doesn't own anything. Same thing is followed by some other people abroad also. There are some very great people abroad also. They live like Parikshit. So you have to live like this. And then when you give up this mortal body, you will reach the heavens of Shri Krishna. Verse number 13. We know that you are expert in the meaning on all subjects except some portions of the Vedas, and thus you can clearly explain the answers to all our questions we have just put to you. So Sutta is told by the people who are sitting in front, saying that you are a great person, you know these answers to all these questions. So can you please give us an answer? This answer is important. So kindly give us the answer to all the questions. Because you are the knower of Vedas also, you have so much of knowledge. He's a sage. What kind of a sage is he? Sutta is the same type of a sage like Sukdev. They are avdutas. They don't own anything. Do you know what they actually own? A tumbler. You know what their tumbler is? Or a small vessel. Does anybody know what the vessel is? Now people will say it is called what? Kamandalu is what you will say. I expected you to answer Kamandalu. No. They don't have a Kamandalu. The vessel which they own is called the stomach. So whatever they put in that stomach, it goes inside, and that is all the vessel that they have. So whatever they get, they will eat it, and that is all that they carry. They don't even carry a Kamandalu. So Sutta or Sukdev, they will not even have a Kamandalu. They don't have clothes also. Nothing. These are such great people. It is very difficult to understand this kind of great sages, see. So that is the reason why they said, you are such an epitome of knowledge. When you look at a person roaming like that naked and you see he doesn't even have a small vessel to eat his food in, what is the first thought that will come to your mind? You will think he is a madman, isn't it? Because he will have all his hair like this. Maybe he has no hair, who knows? He doesn't even have a robe. So you will immediately jump to the conclusion that this fellow is a madman. So Sutta is like that. So now, next verse, Sutta is saying, Sutta Goswami said, when the second millennium overlapped the third, the great sage Vyasdev was born to Parashar in the womb of Satyavati, the daughter of Vasu. Here is the great sage whose birth happens. So, how does this story begin? So the story's beginning is Vyasdev told this entire Srimad Bhagavatam to his son Sukdev. Got the answer? So first we have to know how Vyasdev came into existence. Remember, Vyas is nothing else but Krishna's avatar only. Who else can tell the story except the Lord himself, isn't it? Ask yourself this question. Now suppose you want to know the story of this person here. You can ask other people, stories. Oh, do you know any story about him? Do you know any story about him? So it is all hearsay. It's not the first person. But if you ask me directly, I will tell you my story, isn't it? So what does the Lord do? Sri Krishna does something very unique. He says, if I have to tell my stories, I only have to come on this planet Earth. And I will come like a sage. A sage is a wisdom. He's got wisdom. So he tells his own story. And that is how he comes on this planet Earth. As Vyasdev. He is born to this sage called Parashar. And Satyavati is the mother. Vasu's daughter. I am sure you know, there's Vasu, there are many Vasus, right? So that's the whole lineage which is given in one line. The great sage Vyasdev saw discrepancies in the duties of the millennium. This happens on the earth in different yugas due to unforeseen forces in the course of time. So why does the Lord come on this planet Earth? Because there is something going wrong somewhere. Okay? Now let us say I am in an aeroplane. Okay? Now when the aeroplane is going, I put it on autopilot. And suddenly there is a malfunction in the equipment. And the plane starts diving. Don't you think the pilot is supposed to take charge of it now? Right? In the same manner, the universe is going on autopilot. Everything is happening just like that. But something extraordinary happens. Something which is taking a different route. So the Lord himself says, I have to enter at that time because I am the pilot. And as a pilot, my job is to rectify the problems. So Sri Krishna takes the form of Vyasdev. You know his name, Krishna Dvaipayana. It's a Maharishi. So he takes his avatar and comes so that he can tell his stories to mankind. And that is how he comes. So the great sage Vyasdev saw anomalies or discrepancies in the duties of the millennium. People are falling down in their duties. See, you also have a duty. Your duty is not towards becoming selfish in life. Did we hear about the duties or no just now? What are the kingly duties? Not to be selfish. The welfare of mankind is important. So you have come here not so that you can look after your parents or your spouse or your children or your family or your house. You are not here for that petty purpose. What do great men come for? They come for the welfare of mankind, isn't it? You think Jesus Christ came, Buddha came for his own personal benefit? No. Jesus Christ came so that he can spread the word. Buddha came so that he can spread Buddhism. It's all about godliness, isn't it? And they were helping billions of people. So how many billions are there today in Buddhism or in any other religion? You'll find a lot of people are there. But when there is this kind of a problem where everybody is to himself, I, me, myself, what is going to happen to a person who is in I, me, myself mode? Naturally, he is going to go into a very big tangent which is called rebirths, isn't it? But you have already started hurtling the entire system downline. And this is the problem which we face. So Vyasdev came when things were going out of hand. People had forgotten their duties. See, think about it. Have you forgotten your duty? Yes. You think that you have to serve your family. I was seeing some people, my husband, I have to do this for him. My daughter, I have to do this for her. My relatives, I have to do this for. They are only bothered about that. In the whole day, they don't take the name of God even once. Got it? Yesterday I met another person. This person is only talking, I have to go visit this person, and then I have to go for this one's wedding, this one's mehndi ceremony, that one's haldi ceremony, this has happened, that has happened, what gifts to give people. What? And the person started talking all about I, me, myself. My world is like this, this I have to do, that bank account is like this, and something is like this. I kept quiet and I listened for more than half an hour to this person's so-called rant. Okay? And it was all about I, me, myself. And then I opened my mouth. Till that time I was quiet. I listened to everything and I kept quiet. After that I started saying, I said, yes, I agree with you. But I started on my spiritual topic. And I started talking. In 5 minutes, this person interrupted me 10 times. I said, no. What do you mean by no? Whatever I speak, my Vani is from Veda Shastra, from the scriptures. I don't talk anything outside of that. I am very clear. And this person was not willing to listen. So I said, I'm sorry. If you just now spoke to me for half an hour, talking about all the crap that you do in your world, somebody's wedding, somebody's this, haldi ceremony, this ceremony, that ceremony, what has it got to do with me? But was I kind enough to listen to you? You told me your story. Now listen to mine. Mine is concerning God only. I am a God's person. I will only discuss about the divine. And I started on the divine. You don't want to listen to it. That is not a done thing. I have given you a chance, then you should give me a chance to listen to me. Don't interrupt me. I had to give a person the peace of mind. I said, now do you understand? The only reason why we can't meet, people like you and me cannot meet, is because you are purely material. You are bothered about your own family, your whole life, your money, your father, everything related to you. I, me, myself. I am not related to any of those things. I am related to Shri Krishna and whatever we do in this world. And there are prayers and there are things. So when you meet a spiritual person, it is very difficult to talk to a spiritual person because he is only going to speak of God, whereas you are speaking of the material world. You have all the right in the world and the spiritual person doesn't have the right. That is not a done thing. The spiritual person has equal rights to talk and say, you want to take it, you take it. You don't want to take it, that is your problem. I hope you get that clear. So in your life, how much of God exists? And that is the reason why the Lord has to come, so that He can change these duties of the millennium. So during this end of that yuga, that in-between period, the transitory period, Vyasdev came into the picture. And what did he do? Oh, I missed out one verse, so I will do that verse. So once upon a time, he, that is Vyasdev, as the sun rose, took his morning ablutions in the water of Saraswati and sat down alone to concentrate. The great sage Vyasdev saw anomalies in the duties of the millennium. This happened in the earth in different ages due to unseen forces in the course of time. So Vyasdev's story is there. Now, how did he see these anomalies in time? So the God has come in the form of a teacher. What is Vyasdev? Nothing but a wisdom. Wisdom incorporated. And he is only going to give this wisdom to others. So when he comes, he has to first see where the problem is. So when he was taking his bath in the river water, at that time there was a river called Saraswati. Does anybody know why the river disappeared? The river disappeared because it is called Saraswati. The knowledge disappeared. We had number of channels. You see, one is called the Ida, the Pingala and the Sushumna Nadi. Okay. There is a confluence of the two nadis at a particular juncture. Under that nadi there was another nadi flowing which was called the Saraswati. That nadi itself disappeared. So today's people don't have that knowledge at all. It is the knowledge of the divine. Okay, so it is disappeared completely. So here Vyasdev is looking at things and he says, so many problems are there in this world. What are the problems? People are not following the scriptures. They are not even going as per the rules of the game. So because they are not doing this, there is so much of sin going on. Everybody is going to be born again and again and again. So he came here during that particular yuga, which is between second and the third yuga. Okay. Why second and the third yuga? Remember, Vyasdev comes in every yuga. It is not that he comes in second yuga and not in third. So he is like a constant. He comes and goes and comes and goes. How many Vyasdevs are there? Do you know? There are an umpteen number of Vyasdevs there. Okay. The Vyasdev is nothing but the foundation of knowledge. The stories. Okay. And these stories keep on repeating all the time. So he comes in various forms. Now Vyasdev, according to history, may not be existing. Sorry, you are mistaken. Vyasdev is there. Okay? Vyasdev exists at any given point in time. Alright? Now, I want you to think about it. What is it that we do when we create something in life? So what we do is we establish the foundation. Isn't it called a foundation? So when we establish the foundation, is called a Vyaspitha. Establishing it. So we have to establish it first. So Vyasdev is the one who actually exists in our own life as the foundational basis of our way of life. How we live in this world. And if we are going out of line, Vyasdev's job is to bring us back in line. Back. So he appears as a teacher. Gives the knowledge. And this is how it works. So we have come to the end of verse 16. And we will stop over here now.
Recording stopped.